Good evening, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I think before I announce what we have in store for tonight's show, a very happy Sports Journalist Day to all our sports journalists who are out there. I think this day not just celebrates their role as sports journalists, but also looks towards the betterment of sports journalists throughout not only the country but in the world as well. How our collective synergy, what kind of proposals can we come up with to make sure that this profession improves, obviously, gets better hands on first-hand information regarding sports. And definitely when you talk about sports, it's such a vast domain, being the fourth largest industry in the world, that the role of sports journalists really needs to be appreciated. That being said, telling you what we're going to be discussing tonight, obviously cricket, starting off with cricket. Pakistan's tour to England is on our top stories tonight, and it's going to be great that Pakistan looks well prepared. They had a practice match between Babar 11 and Shadab 11 in which we saw Babar 11 beating Shadab 11. They scored a massive more than 300 run target for Shadab 11, who could only manage 200. Babar Azam got a century. That was good to watch. Imam ul Haq scored more than 80 runs. That was also great to see. As far as the other side is concerned, only Abdullah Shafiq was amongst the centurion, probably the top scorer for them. Otherwise, no decent performances there. Bowlers got hammered. Obviously, they would have gotten hammered because Babar was on the other side. He hammered Shaheen, he hammered Shadab. He also hammered Imad Wasim. Usman Qadir got about 3 wickets, so that was good to see. Their second intra-squad match is now on the 3rd of July, but their first match is going to be held on the 8th of this month against England. That's when the tour starts. So that being said, we'll be moving on to other news in the top stories tonight as well. The PCB has announced the men's central contract list. PCB has promoted Hassan Ali to category A. They've also promoted Mohammad Rizwan to category A. They've demoted Sarfraz Ahmed to category C, which is making a lot of news on social media. Mohammad Hafiz has been ignored once again, but obviously he's one who's always denied a central contract. He said that he wants to see youngsters getting amongst that. As far as cricket is concerned, those are the top stories. But moving on to the Euros, football action tonight continues once again with the quarterfinal stage of the Euro beginning from tonight. History is favouring Spain as they face Switzerland. Italy is going to face Belgium in the second quarterfinal. England is going to face Ukraine, and definitely we've got another quarterfinal underway as well. So we'll definitely get the semi-finals lined up completed, and then we do know that the semis start on the 8th, and definitely then the final that takes place in England. Also, like I just highlighted, World Sports Journalist Day is being observed today. Sports are an integral part of human life. Sports Journalist Day is being held worldwide on 2nd July. It first started in the early 1800s. That's how long the history goes, and there were certain events that were held with connection of World Sports Journalist Day throughout the country, especially in Islamabad, and we also have certain messages of sports journalists regarding Sports Journalist Day as well. We'll be showcasing those tonight on Sports Extra as well. Time now to introduce our guests in studios to discuss cricket. First of all, we've been joined by sports expert, none other than Ali Mehdi. Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum salam, I'm very well, thank you.
Good to have you. We've also been joined by cricket expert who's going to keenly analyze Pakistan's tour to England and also the contract list that has been announced as well, Mr. Mubrarram Imran. Mubrarram, assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum salam, thank you for having me.
Good to have you on the show. Right, Ali Mehdi, first of all, I think I'll put it straight to you. A good intra-squad match, but we've been commenting on the fact that Shadab has not been informed, and the way Babar thrashed him actually gave us that outlook that maybe he's not the right option right now.
He's never been the right option. I've been saying it since day one that Shadab is not the right option. Shadab shouldn't even be in this team. I'm sorry to say that. You've got so many more quality players. Look, Shadab is he's running on empty right now. He really needs to perform. He needs to show his captaincy skills too. He had a good PSL, took Islamabad United to 16 points, and then they went to the knockout stage and couldn't make the final. But overall, it's not only about his leadership skills, Ahmad, it's about his own form. He has to do well with the bat, he needs to do well with the ball. Until he doesn't sort these two things out, he's always going to be under scrutiny. He's going to be under the radar because he really needs to work on it. On the other side, you see Babar does magnificently. He's now embraced captaincy. He's doing extremely well. He's batting very well too. I mean, he completely thrashed, his team completely thrashed Shadab 11, which shows that he's got confidence too. He's actually instilled it in his batting.
Playing very aggressively.
He's playing very aggressively too and very consistent in 50 over. The thing is now he needs to convert that into test cricket. He's done very well in 50 over. 20 over T20s, I think, wrongfully people are, criticizing him for slow strike rate, but that's the way he bats. But he really needs to be more consistent in test matches because he hasn't done well over the past year.
Right. Mubrarram, what are the key factors where you are worried about the Pakistan team in England? We know that they feel a lot more confident, but what's the key element that you think might hurt Pakistan?
No, if you comparison with the previous T20 series, previous tour to England, which was held in 2019, right before the World Cup, Pakistan was smashed by the England and the British players, and this is right now. This is the alarming situation because this the practice match we just played, and the bowlers was being hammered by Babar Azam, and in the England side, this Joe Butler, this Ben Stokes, this Johnny Bairstow, there were many people who are ready to hammer those bowlers. So they need to come up with some kind of a plan of action and form, because the minimum total we got to see in the 2019 series was 297. So that pitch are high scoring. The bowlers needs to come up with some plan of action so that they stop the batsman, because in England they have a batting like 7 down, 6 down. They have a batting. They have Joe Butler till the end. They have the batting till Jofra Archer and the other all-rounder. So that is why they need to take care of her, because this match is also should be considered as alarming that bowlers were being hammered by their own batsmen. So England is definitely going to be preparing for them as well.
Ali Mehdi, England are coming from a series against Sri Lanka where they have been highly successful, but Sri Lanka has been highly disappointing. They're now ranked #1 when it comes to most losses in international cricket. I'm sure they're not a side that would consider Pakistan easy. They've always considered Pakistan a very tough competition. But how do you think England's preparations are?
Look, England's got some good preparation against the Sri Lankans too. Look, this is the worst Sri Lankan team in my lifetime. I think you'd agree with me. Gone are the days of the 90s and the 2000s too. But Sri Lanka have been woeful. But when you talk about England, they're world champions. They had a good competitive series against India in the spring. And then other than that, I think their 50 over T20 squad is still one of the best in the world.
Right, the best in the world, definitely. But we do know what England can pack. But Pakistan is definitely going with a lot of new blood, you can say. Probably people making comeback. Haris Sohail obviously couldn't play this practice match because of an injury. He still has a niggle. He's not been there in the Pakistan squad. So Maqsood is making a comeback. A lot has to be said. Then obviously the debate between Usman Qadir or Shadab Khan, who should be playing fast bowling combination. Everything is there. Mubrarram, we still have a problem that we need to identify the openers in one international cricket. And obviously Misbah Haq also agreed to the fact in a press conference that the opening slot is still not decided. Definitely we might see Babar Azam coming down in one day international, but if he does open, who do you think is the probable that will partner him?
I think we should go for the Fakhar Zaman, because they are very good in the combination, and the left and the right combination, it's going to work there as well. So that is the thing which needs to be taken care of, because you need to have, if you bat first especially, you need to set good total, because England team is all about chasing and they are very good at it, and this is their home ground, and they know what the pitches are, they know what the turn is, they know what the tracks are, they know what the outfield is. So they are very much ready to chase down as much as total as Pakistan is going to make, but still we need to put our maximum effort and try to make as much as we can.
Ali Mehdi, I won't mind Imran Haq up there as well. Scored a good 85, but we know that when it comes to him batting a lot of overs, that what Pakistan need to actually save one end and also accelerating when required, Imam can be a good enough option.
I think Imam is a phenomenal option. In fact, he shouldn't be dropped. Look what has Imam done wrong over the past couple of years, 3-4 years since he actually made his debut. He has an average over 40. He did very well in England in the World Cup too, actually getting 100 against Bangladesh. And then he's also done very well in the other matches too. So he has that experience. He did well in the series before the World Cup too in England. And I think he's been phenomenal. Look, 50 over is the format which suits him best. Test cricket, he hasn't stated his claim for that. Neither he's done for T20. 50 overs suits him so much. So I would genuinely feel that it would be wrong for them to drop Imam. Imam must be there. Yes, Fakhar has been inconsistent too, but Imam hasn't done anything wrong in 50 over, and I think
you can open with both of them and push Babar to number 3.
I still think that you should stick with those two, because that's a formula you've been going on for 2-3 years. I mean, look, Fakhar did very well in the series against South Africa. He didn't have a very good PSL towards the back end.
Well, that's probably his team didn't have a good PSL.
But the fact of the matter is that Ahmad, he did very well. He did very well in the series against South Africa. In fact, he was one of our best players too. So you must take him over there. He's been phenomenal. So you need to. I think they should still stick to the Fakhar Zaman and Imam Haq formula.
Definitely, that formula might work. But then, of course, our problems at number 5 and 6, Mubrarram, will still continue, because we still need a pinch hitter at that point.
Well, what can we say that In T20, they have selected Azam Khan, so probably that's why we get to see him. And the fitness was the prior issue in the beginning, but the job he is selected for, he can do that in the place he comes, which like 5 to 6 down. That is the most of the time of the match that when you require the maximum amount of hitting, because there were many less balls remaining. So Azam Khan can be the man of the job, because initially we used to rely on Asif Ali, and he's been a very big disappointment. Though he performed in PSL really well, but he cannot be a horse of a big race.
Definitely, that might be the question. Ali Mehdi, you agree that so much invested on Asif Ali, so much talent that he's got and ability, but just not there for international cricket.
The thing with Asif Ali is that he's been phenomenal in domestic cricket. The problem is that you have those certain players who can't actually translate that into 50-over cricket. This gets into international cricket. They do very well in domestic, and Asif Ali has done very well, in domestic cricket for a long period. He just, when it comes to international cricket, he gets found out. He makes mistakes. He's not consistent enough, and unfortunately, because of that, there's that void in that middle order. Asif Ali could have secured it by now, but because of his inconsistency, because of his poor performances, unfortunately, he doesn't have that spot anymore.
That being said, bowling combination, Mubrarram, you would agree that relies a lot on Shaheen Shah Afridi, but it's good to see Hassan Ali back in form, so maybe that burden can be eased a bit.
Exactly, because initially Shaheen Shah Afridi, he's been continuously playing series back to back, and God forbid if he gets injured, there's nobody to replace him. I've been telling that consistently, that he needs to take rest, because right after this series he's going to join the KPL, and then there will be a World Cup in which he would be requiring the most. And if God forbid he gets injured, then there's a big drawback, a setback for Pakistan. But yes, indeed, there's the sole responsibility of bowling is not on him. Then it's good to see Hassan Ali is back in form. Then you have a spin attack. Then Fahim Ashraf is also in the squad. So eventually the bowling attack is being taken care of if they have planned a very good strategy against England, because England is, as I told you earlier, it's not a team which you can take easily, because the home ground is there, and it's going to be
Definitely. If I just now move on from Pakistan tour to England towards the fact that the PCB has announced a list of central contracts that have been given to 20 elite players, and category A includes Babar Azam, Shaheen Shah Afridi, Hassan Ali, Mohammad Rizwan. Category B includes Azhar Ali, Fahim Ashraf, Fakhr Zaman, Yasir Shah, Shadab Khan, Fawad Alam. Category C includes Abid Ali, Imamul Haq, Haris Rauf, Numan Ali, Mohammad Nawaz, Mohammad Hasnain, and Sarfaraz Ahmad. Emerging category includes Usman Qadir, Shahnawaz Dahani, Imran Butt, who are also there. Some of the features that need to be highlighted here, and very important for all of you to understand, that the PCB has gone up a notch. What they've done is 25% increase in category A retainer, no increase in Test, ODI and T20 international match fee. 25% increase in category B retainer, 25% increase in category C retainer, 15% increase in emerging category. And what they've done is that they've equaled the match fee for each format, that is T20, ODI and and Test match cricket. They've equaled the match fee as well. So they've given some enhancement to the players as well. A lot is being said about the fact that Sarfaraz was promoted to category C, Maaz Wasim. A lot of stuff will be said, but the fact is that the PCB has better identified players who they think are the future of Pakistan. Now, Ali Mehdi, your thoughts on this?
No, I think it's very well done, especially these increments they've given about 15%, like you mentioned, to category A, B, C, and then obviously emerging too. Best thing I think about it is to see Hassan Ali is back in that category A. I mean, it shows that he's firing on all cylinders, and the PCB has a long-term plan for him. So it's very good to see. Shaheen Shah is also over there. There's a Babar is there. Rizwan is there. So then
let's talk about the emerging category, Ali Mehdi. How important is it for Shahnawaz Dahani to get a central contract from the PCB?
No, I think it's very good, because in the long run they are looking for him, and they're actually looking for him. Look, what you have in the next 12 months, you have the World Test Championship, and then you have the World T20 World Cup, which will be taking place in Dubai, in UAE and Oman. They've actually identified him, and then at the same time too, Imam is there too. You have all the other players too. So I think it's a very good good contract list which the PCB has slated.
Mubrarram, your thoughts on this? Do you think that it's right for people to criticize the PCB that they've pushed Sarfaraz down to category C, or do you think that it's just how things work?
No, exactly. We actually see those things on the TV, so it's really easy for us to make an opinion about anything. But the thing is that PCB is on the ground, on the route. So so they know what players are performing and what are their potentials right now. But demoting Surfraz to the category C is quite justified because he is not being performing consistently. In the team he leads in the PSL is also, you know, was the first one who got eliminated from the tournament. So this was the right decision, in my opinion, that PCB took. And Ahmad Wasim is also not been performing really well. He was a captain of a second most expensive franchise of the PSL, and his performance was not good. At a captain should be given on that one. So that's why PCB is the one who sees actually very player, who observes, who has a team which keeps an eye on the players, that how do they perform, what should they be given, and putting those, like if I talk about the emerging category, Shahnawaz Dhani I guess is the most proper decision PCB has taken to put him, the guy, in the emerging category, because he's been consistent performer. He's been great with the ball, and if I quote about the final, the Multan Sultan, the bowling length he was delivering at that time. It's amazing, and he is one of the main bowlers of T20 is going to be for the Pakistan.
Right, Mubrarram, thank you so much for joining us on Sports Extra. We're going to leave our segment there. Ali Mehdi is going to stay here, and we'll be moving on to football right after this very short break. Stay tuned to Sports Extra. Welcome back to Sports Extra. I'm going to be in conversation with Ali Mehdi talking about the Euros quarterfinals that start from tonight. Switzerland are facing Spain. Tomorrow we've got Belgium, Italy. Then it's Czech Republic, Denmark, and then Ukraine, England on Sunday. Ali Mehdi, your thoughts on the quarterfinals?
Look, I think these are mouth-watering ties, especially the big one tonight, which is Italy versus Belgium. Italy versus Belgium is going to be spectacular. It's taking place in Munich too. These are the two heavyweights. Belgium, the golden generation, they did very well to knock out defending champions Portugal. They are actually going against Italy, who have been phenomenal, haven't conceded a single goal too. So I think that's going to be the most important tie of them all. Whoever wins that match, I think, has a good chance of winning the tournament. On the other side, Spain actually did very well, knocked out Croatia 5-3 in after extra time. They're finding form too. Slow start, but they're doing very well. And then the surprise package, Switzerland, who knocked out world champions France. They on their day can actually cause some more problems. So I think that's going to be another good tie, but I think Spain will go through. On the other side, you see it's England versus I think the big one is England versus Ukraine. Ukraine, another surprise package. They defeated Sweden in extra time. I didn't see that coming. I think England, the thing with England is now this is their golden chance. This is the best opportunity to win a trophy since 1966. But the thing is that they're playing against the Ukraine side for the first time outside London. They're playing against them in Rome at the Olimpico. If they can get through that, I think they have their favorites to win, because they'll be playing the semi-final and final at home. And then we wrap up with
Denmark
and Czech Republic. Yeah. Denmark actually destroyed Wales, did very well to beat them 4-0. I think they're going to be favorites, but then you cannot count out Czech, because Czech didn't defeat highly favored.
Right, Ali Mehdi, very quickly, I think I'll just go towards your predictions. First of all, we've got a qualifier tonight. This is a quarterfinal. Who are you rooting for? Is it going to be, do you think Spain just has that edge?
I think Spain will beat Switzerland. Look, Switzerland have that surprise factor, but I can't see them losing in Spain. Spain is finding their mojo, and they scored 5 goals. So I still think that Luis Enrique will have enough to beat the other opposition.
Belgium, Italy, probably a final before the final.
That is a final. It's an unfortunate taking place in the quarterfinals, but this is how it works. I think Belgium versus Italy is going to be a phenomenal game. It's a very difficult one to call, but I have to say Italy, because Belgium have injuries to De Bruyne and Hazard. And if those don't play, I think Italy's defense can actually shore up and they can actually win.
Then coming down, we've got Denmark up against Czech Republic.
Denmark versus Czech Republic. Look, Czech Republic, I think, got very lucky in their last game too against Holland. I can't see them beating Denmark, but you never know. But Denmark should easily.
And your favorite, you didn't want to say England against Germany, but that happened. So what about it now?
Look, England are favourites. They're playing against Ukraine in Rome. They have so much depth in their squad. This is their best opportunity to win a trophy. I think England should easily cruise against the Ukrainians in Rome.
Definitely. That being said, I think we'll wrap the segment. Ali, Mehdi, thank you so much for joining us. The quarterfinal action is going to start from tonight. Spain have been putting a lot of training at St. Petersburg as well. And, you know, it's just great to see international football back with such, I think, electrifying matches as well. It's been very exciting for us. That being said, like I said, we're celebrating International Sports Journalist Day today. World Sports Journalist Day is being celebrated today. Let's just go watch this report. Then we'll come back and discuss it further.
Serena Hotels and Rawalpindi Islamabad Sports Journalists Association hosted a function on World Sports Journalists Day. Special Assistant to the Prime Minister Shehbaz Gill, Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting Farooq Habib, eminent athletes, and a large number of sports journalists attended the function. Addressing the function, Special Assistant to the Prime Minister Shehbaz Gill said that since the 1992 Cricket World Cup, Pakistan has achieved success in many sports. He said that if sports are promoted, then sports journalists will also be promoted. He said that sports journalism is very important in Pakistan and sports culture was not promoted in Pakistan last year. He also said that courses for sports journalists must also be brought. Minister of State for Information Farooq Habib said that today, a sportsman is the Prime Minister of the country. Imran Khan is still considered as a world cricket legend. Together with the provincial governments, we will solve the problems of sports journalists. Rasja's President Shakir Abbasi, Senior Vice President Arslan Sherazi, and Secretary General Shah Khalid apprised the ministers about the problems of sports journalists. Government ministers assured a solution to the problems of sports-related journalists. At the end of the ceremony, Minister of State Farooq Habib, Special Assistant to the Prime Minister Shehbaz Gill, cut the cake along with Rasja members on the occasion of World Sports Journalists Day.
Right, that was definitely an event that highlighted the importance of sports journalists in promoting not just sports related activities and news, but also, like I said, improving sports all around us as well. That being said, I think I'll probably say goodbye, but you got to stay tuned because we've got so many messages from all around the world regarding World Sports Journalist Day, and that's going to be a treat for you, for me, and the entire team. It'll be goodbye for now, but we'll leave you with these messages of senior sports journalists throughout the world.
I think this World Sports Journalist Day reminds us that we should work hard, strive for positivity with humility and hard work. Journalism is a sacred profession. We should not violate the rules of journalism and do our hard work, bring positivity. As far as my experience is concerned, I have worked for news agencies, I have worked for a television channel, I have worked for newspapers, foreign and local, and for BBC as well. So my resolve was always to be honest, humble and hardworking so that I can create positive role in the society as well as in the field of sports. Sportsmen do fail, they win also. So in a similar way, journalists also fail and succeed. But as they say that your last mistake is your best teacher, learn, move on, read a lot, and contribute your best in sports journalism.
I wish you all a very happy Sports Journalist Day. This day is very significant in the lives of us sports journalists because it recalls a lot that we have had so far. I started off in 2003 from a private TV channel, the very first, in fact, the private TV channel. And since then, I've had my good times, my bad times, my late night, sitting at the workplace, my travels abroad. So I've learned a lot since then, and I'm still learning. And the basic thing is, the best thing about this job is that I love this job. So good luck to you and have a good time.
To all the sports journalists of the world, a very happy International Sports Journalist Day for today, all the way from South Africa. I think it goes without saying that every single one of us miss our regular beats when we could go around the world following the best teams and stars as they showcase their skills for fans all over the world. And this pandemic has shown us just how privileged that we are to do the jobs that we do in the manner that we do them. And until we return to normal times, I think it's a collective responsibility to ensure that we keep on reporting and spreading as widely as possible the message of sports to those people who don't have access and the opportunity to watch as the pandemic continues. And until that day when we can all meet again on the side of a sports field, stay safe, stay responsible, and happy International Sports Journalist Day.
First of all, I would like to thank Pakistan Television World for giving me the opportunity for the message on the occasion of World Sports Journalist Day. Sports journalist is the main part of the media or news due to the increasing influence of sports. The influence of sports journalists is also increasing continuously. The importance of sports journalists cannot be denied in any way, and I believe that the role of sports journalists is very important in the development and promotion of the sports, and also I believe that sports journalists are doing a lot for the welfare of the athletes, not only in Pakistan, in Asia, and all over the world.
I wish all sport journalists of Pakistan to work hard for the betterment of sports and for the betterment of the future, because sports journalists have the honor that they have published only the true picture of every event.
On this day, I would like to comment that we have to fulfill our responsibility, especially in the grassroots level, to promote the talent. We have to help sports officials to enable them to promote the talent through sports journalism. Our responsibilities are very important, and we have to give proof of our being a capable journalist. It is our prime responsibility to keep an eye that no unjust happens to a new player.
There are around 8,000 sports in the world, and 200 plus games are internationally recognized. So you have to be very attentive, very passionate to follow these games, the players, their statistics, their records, and you have to go for their interviews. So I would like to say, if you want to join the sports journalism, give your 100%, because you can't perform your duties without giving your 100% in this field. So in the end, I would like to say happy World Sports Journalist Day.
I want to extend my greetings to fellow sports journalists on World Sports Journalist Day, because this is becoming increasingly important, especially in our part of the world where sports was not given such primacy. I can think back about 25, 30 years, and even in newsrooms it was thought that in the pecking order, the sports department or the sports journalists were considered country cousins of the political reporters and the city reporters, and of course the editors and the deputy editors and assistant editors. But a lot of water has flowed under the bridge in the last 25, 30 years, and it's been recognized by political dispensation, society at large, that sports represents the soft power of a country. It's a great thing. It instills a lot of pride in achievement when sports persons of a country achieve something. It's a matter of joy and pride for the entire country, and therefore, obviously, the attention also shifts focus to what sports journalists do and how they do their job. And I think that's paramount to understand, because I think in a way we are all blessed. We get a grandstand view of life. Imagine, where people clamor to get into a major event like a World Cup cricket match or a hockey match. You get a sort of pole position to sit and watch that match, and what can be better? So I think that's the joy, that's the delight, that's the prestige.
It is my privilege to talk with one of the leading channel of Pakistan Television. And my praise for my country, my praise for my players, and due to my players, I travel different countries. As a journalist, I feel that Pakistan needs more international activities in Pakistan, because our fellow colleagues, they can cover the international tournaments, coverages, and they meet with the different world stars. Now Pakistan is the South Asia's biggest stars we have. The different fields in cricket, in hockey, snooker, and we said it in the climbing. You know, we have one of the highest mountains in Pakistan. And my praise for my Pakistan, and I wish in future Pakistan will be host more mega international events.
Very happy Sports Journalist Day to all my sports journalists, friends, fraternity, community in Pakistan and across the world. Uh, Sport journalists work very hard day and night, and they really put a lot of effort to provide you the inside news, the timely updates, and the interviews and the content which all of you love. So, massive congratulations and respect for everyone. And a special mention because this obviously this message being honored on the PTV World sports program Sports Extra. So congratulations, Arslan, Sherazi, the producer, Ahmad, and all the team of Sports Extra on a wonderful sports show. And thanks for having me today. And as you guys always take me in your program, so best of luck for the year ahead.
Sports journalists can present a better image, can present a better picture of the country in the world. So I hope that Pakistani sports is flourish in Pakistan, so that we can present a better picture of Pakistan in the world. And best of luck to the sports journalists in the world, in the Pakistan.
I have covered various cricket events from last 18 years, 18 and 19 years. I am currently associated with GTV. I have in past I have been associated with ARY, with PTV Sports and Geo Super. I congratulate to PTV World for the World Sports Journalist Day. The way they are celebrating this World Sports Journalist Day, keep it up and long live Pakistan.
Happy Sports Journalist Day. I am Ahmad, a sports journalist working in this field for last 10 years. I want to give one message. We have to work with unity, hard work and dedication to meet our goals in our organization and in our life. Happy World Sports Journalist Day.
Since 1999, cricket is my passion, and I have covered a lot of cricketing events like World Cup, Champions Trophy, Asia Cup, and so many bilateral series of Pakistan. In these days, I'm also working for Cricket Pakistan website and doing 2 weekly cricket shows. It's a new experience for me because previously I have only working for print media, but now I'm also working for digital media, and I love it. I also wrote 9 books about cricket. My message for young journalists to keep working hard. They can achieve their goals like me.